Hello there. Nate Jackson, Criterion Collection reviewer guy, making a very boring entrance for a very no, it wasn't a boring movie actually. This movie wasn't bad, but just the entrance is boring. No, to make up for the excitement that is Mikhail Kalatozov's The Cranes Are Flying. Look at him go. Number 140. Oh crap, I've lost count. I think it's 140. I think we're at 146. I can't remember. Cripes. I think let's just pretend and say we're at 146. So how about that? Even though we probably aren't. Anyway, so let's talk about this one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was kind of tragic, but I mean, I guess but I think this one. Well, let me tell you about the story. So it's about these two lovers, Veronica and Boris, and they're in love, and they're all they go around and all cutesy wootsy and all that, and everything's all hunky dory between them. They live with I think they have like neighboring families, and they live. No, I think they live in different blocks. I for a second I thought they lived in the same building, but that's something else. And yeah, so they're in love, and then World War II breaks out, and Boris ends up volunteering. He says that originally they think he's drafted, but he admits that he volunteered. And Veronica's upset because she doesn't want to lose him and all that. And so he goes off and ends up fighting. And meanwhile, Mark, who is I think his brother. No, his cousin, Boris's cousin, is like he's this piano player who is like kind of a draft dodger. He like says, "Oh, I won't get picked because I'm so talented," because he plays piano and he's trying to get the Tchaikovsky Hall, and he keeps flirting with Veronica, while as Boris is going and all that, and so like. As they get shipped off, Veronica tries to catch him and throw him groceries, but they all fall. And so anyway, one night Veronica and Mark are alone, while he's playing piano, and like these bombs go off, and like the window breaks, and so Mark suddenly becomes delirious and tells her that he loves her, and she keeps slapping him and telling him to get off of him, and eventually, she faints, and he carries her back to this room. And I mean, apparently, I would like to. I mean, I don't want to think about it, but I'd like to think that Mark apparently probably had his way with Veronica, and so eventually, I guess he ends up like believing that he ends up telling his family, because Veronica ends up because what happens is Veronica's family, I guess, is killed by a bomb. Their building is bombed, and she goes to the shelter. And when she comes back, like the whole building is just basically obliterated. I mean, apart from a clock, there's a clock that's still like intact and still ticking. And so she lives with Boris's family, and that's how Mark and they get together. And eventually, Mark and Veronica get married. I mean, under duress of Mark, who apparently, like, I guess, shames her into doing it. So they get married, even though their marriage is miserable. And at one point, Veronica eventually like tries to kill herself. And just as she's about to kill herself, she notices this kid who's like about to walk into traffic, and she saves the kid. And she finds out that the kid's name is Boris, and so she kind of adopts the kid. She takes her home to the family and all that. And she's still waiting on letters from Boris, and Boris stops writing back. And she, eventually she finds out that, we see Boris getting shot, but we don't know if he dies or not. We see in the hospital, Veronica becomes a nurse and dresses up as a nurse and goes to the hospital, and she finds out that. Apparently, like there's like this other guy whose girl left him for another man, and the doctor basically curses her out and calls her a bitch and all that. And Veronica overhears this and gets freaked out and leaves and all that. So she's kind of freaking out about her relationship with Boris and all that. But eventually, it is discovered that the reason why Mark, Veronica's husband, wasn't accepted into the army wasn't because that he was so talented. It was because that he took a bribe under his father's name. And so when his father finds out from someone, and so he confronts Mark and he kicks him out of the house. And Veronica wants to go too, because she just can't, she can't, she doesn't, she's freaking out and all that. But she stays anyway. And so they stay on, and a little while later, a soldier friend of Boris comes by and tells her that he needs to speak with Boris's father because he's dead. Boris is dead. And Veronica, and he tells Veronica this, not realizing that Veronica was Boris's girlfriend. So she walks, and she freaks out, and he realizes this, and he takes her hand, and he says, "I'm sorry," And so, eventually, and so Vladimir, I think his name is Vladimir, I think. The father tells Vladimir that, you can come next time you're in Moscow, I think, come by and all that. And so, eventually the war ends. Veronica still believes that Boris is alive. And so she goes to, where the trains are, where all the soldiers are coming out. And one of Boris's best friends comes and gives her these flowers and tells her that Boris isn't coming back. He's dead. And Veronica is heartbroken, obviously. As she walks through all these, these happy reuniting couples, and they're all happy and smiling, she's crying. And Boris's friend, I think his name is Stefan or something, he makes this really passionate speech about, we're really happy today, but we've got to remember that we've got to remember those who we left behind. We've got to keep rebuild. We will rebuild, and we will be better and all that. And so, inspired by this, she kind of, she realizes, she comes to terms with it all, and she starts giving out the flowers to the people around her, and just kind of smiles, at the thought that, just at her memories of him. And that's basically the movie. This one, it's just a sad ending. It's kind of a sad ending. But what really, the star of this film is the cinematographer. Or possibly, Kalatazov himself. Just the whole, all the direction, just it was just, it was shot. I think it's one of the most beautifully shot films I've seen in a long time. The angles, the shadowing. I think one of the striking shots of when Boris is, I think Mark is walking, Mark or Boris are walking by, when the soldiers are going away, and you see on the other side of this gate, and you see all really close, intense shots of everybody passing by, and it's really shot. And then another really striking, and of course the scene where Mark and Veronica are alone with the storm. That's really, the lightning and all that is really, really trippy. And the shot of Veronica when she goes up to her flat that's been bombed, that's another brilliant shot. But I think the two that really got me were toward the end, where after Vladimir tells Veronica that Boris is dead, she's standing in this light, and she walks away, and she walks into darkness, and then walks into another room. There's this little part of the corridor, or the hall, that's dark, and then she walks out to the other end of the hall, which is light. And that just oh my god, that just freaked me out. It's I got it, And then the other shot was when she finds out that Veronica, just obviously when she finds out that Boris is dead at the train station, and so she walks, and she's crying, and everybody is just so happy, and it's just, God, that got to me, So yeah, that's basically it. The cinematography is beautiful, but I don't know, it's just a sad ending, and because of that, I'm gonna give it. And I know giving the story giving a lower rating because of the story is kind of sad, but it's a sad story, and I don't know. I kind of wish there was a slightly better resolution, but yeah. So I'm gonna give it an A minus. It was beautifully shot, beautifully shot, but just the ending, a little tugged a little, and I can't. I like happiness in my movies, yeah, that's who I am. So A minus, still a really good movie. I would recommend it. I think it's the best Russian film we've seen. I mean, we do have the Alexander the Great and Boris Godunov, not Boris Godunov, but Alexander the Great and Ivan the Terrible. I mean, Alexander Nevsky and Boris the Terrible. We have those two. Those are three great films, but I got to get it up to this one. I mean, this one's just. I mean, maybe because I'm more into modern films, and this was more modern. I mean, because the other ones were, period pieces. So I got into this one. So I liked it. So A minus. Great job. Please check this out. I think it's out of print. So yeah. And that's it. No supplements. Just the movie. So A minus. Yay. And we're crawling through these criterions. So let's see. Next is In the Mood for Love. I checked the supplements. There are 2 discs. The movie's not very long, but there are 2 discs, a whole second disc of supplements. So we are going to have to do that one on Sunday, February 22nd. So there will not be anything this Thursday unless I get off my butt and do the supplements for The Rock, because that's the only thing I have to do right now. And so we'll do In the Mood for Love on Sunday, and then Ballad of a Soldier on Monday, and then hopefully Juliet of the Spirits. I gotta get Juliet of the Spirits, and actually, if that one even comes in, I forgot to put a hold on that one. I'll have to do that. I'll probably do that one as soon as I get off here. So Juliet of the Spirits, and then I forget what's after that. I think Traffic and then George Washington are coming up. Or 2 movies that are coming up. The Steven Soderberghs and all that. And yeah, I forget what's after that. So I think Bob bought one called Bob La Flume. And yeah, so we got some movies coming up. So that's it. So anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. So morals. Don't rape. Don't flirt with your cousin's girlfriend. And don't go to war. Let's just be peaceful. It's a wartime movie, so let's just think of peace, okay? Let's just stop the fighting and all that. And yeah, that's it for me. So thanks for watching. You got your morals, and we will see you Sunday for In the Mood for Love. And until then, goodbye.